Hello, everyone. We're at Pocket Gamer Connects London 2023. I'm Dylan from HyprMex, and I'm joined by Manon from GC Publishing. Welcome.
Thanks.
Perfect. So to kick things off, GC Publishing has been around for quite some time now. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about the company and your role over there.
Yeah, sure. So GC Publishing was founded in 2018, so 5 years ago, actually, very soon, by Benoit Pruneau, after he actually developed Snake vs. Block, which was a huge hit in the hyper-casual world and one of the first titles of Voodoo, actually. So after that, we decided to create a company. So two companies, actually, one for publishing and one studio. And GC is the publishing side of the activities.
Got it. And maybe you could tell the camera more, or maybe you could tell the audience more about your role over there, how big the team is, where you're based.
Yes, sure. So GC Publishing is actually a quite small company. We're like seven people right now. I'm the executive director of the company, and I'm also taking care of, so I'm mainly taking care of operations and lately some strategy too.
Got it. Nice. So I guess on the topic of strategy, as we know, last year, 2022, was a difficult year for our entire industry. Maybe you could tell the folks about, some of the challenges you faces, and then on an opposite note, what were some successes you saw last year?
Sure. So, well, I think I will say the exact same as every publisher ever. With, the IDFA earthquake and everything that's been going on, and everybody, switching from iOS to Android, then back to on iOS, and that was a big change for us as well. And we stayed really on iOS at this period. So we were able to actually see a lift because, of the market movements.
Right. Yeah.
So that was quite nice. And after that, I think one of the success that we saw is that we really managed to adapt our internal tools and our BI tools to adapt the whole new privacy environment that we're facing now.
Yeah.
And one of the most challenging things, I think, right now is finding games that have a lot of traction. And, there are a lot more games than the few years before.
Right.
And the market is really competitive, and you need to find the right, the right gameplay, the right moments, the time to market, everything needs to be right, and that's a huge challenge.
Absolutely, yeah, and we've been seeing that now more than ever, especially these last few months, which is a great transition to the next question, right? So between your publishing arm and the studio, you're mainly doing hyper-casual games, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe you could tell me a little bit more about what your take is on the current genre, like how hyper-casual that business stands right now, and sort of how things look down the road for hyper-casual overall.
Right. So we've been experimenting with hybrid casual, hyper-casual hybrid, I would say, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, a few different metas, and try to mix things up with, I guess, classical hyper-casual genre and casual.
Got it.
And see where this is going. And we've had some pretty encouraging results actually with this. So I think we'll continue in 2023 pushing in that direction, as well as staying on hyper-casual, pure hyper-casual. And one takeaway I think that is interesting is I've seen hyper-casual games with mostly ad monetization do well in some specific niche, as opposed as the very broad audiences that we used to see in hyper-casual. Right. So, for example, we have this one game that is Bike Life, and this is really a niche like Bike Life audience, right. And it's doing great, even though it's a hyper-casual game. Right. And I think that's actually a good way also to find games, not just focusing on as broad as possible, but also targeting some specific demographic or of people.
Absolutely. So you mentioned Bike Life. I know another big title of yours is Driver King. You mentioned these sort of niche audiences while also staying hyper-casual. Are there any other sort of games within the genre that your team's exploring in this new year?
I'd say we've been experimenting a little bit with idols, but yeah, there is really there is really nothing else I can say on
Yeah.
this subject. I mean, we've been experimenting with a lot of different core gameplays and different studios as well that come from casual to hyper casual at this time. Of the market, it's kind of a challenge, but I see a lot of studios that are actually interested in going to hyper casual. So we've been experimenting with them and the experience in the casual world, I guess.
Yeah. So the last question I have for you, right? So we're in this new year of 2023. What can we expect from your team to come out this year? Outside of traditional new titles, any new projects or internal initiatives that you could share? They'd love to understand.
Yes, I think this year we'll focus on, as well as finding new studios and new partners on the automation. We want to level up our automation system. So we have already a lot of things that are automated to take care of, the user acquisition, the monetization, and so on. And we want to take this a step further. And we have a project that I really can't share because we're in January 2023 and it's kind of early, but maybe open some of our internal tools to our studios.
Okay. Nice. Well, I know it's a lot. It's beginning of the year, so there's a lot planned. Hopefully all follow through.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, thank you for coming on. Enjoy the rest of the conference and we'll hopefully see you around.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.